All right, man, we'll go over some compression. Not a lot to it really, but want to get something down so we can get going. I've already alluded to some of this, but there's some stuff I want to add, and then over the course of the year, if we got to add stuff, we will. So we'll start out with the sky, and then okay. So when we go to compression, this is when I do my special shading, uh, where I go down, inside, underneath, inside, and then I got to reset the purples so they play normal. One reason I don't like doing this from a cover 2 look or a quarters look is when I do that, then it changes. Sometimes it changes one of the flats to an L1. This one, it didn't. Particular one didn't, but sometimes they do, and it's not fast. So when I play compression, I just play it as is. Okay. So again, we have a couple options. This is going to be our base where we go underneath, inside, and then we reset curl flats. Okay, we can do this from cloud as well, but mainly sky. Okay. We can also play match from this. We'll kind of get into that here in a little bit, but in general. Okay, so when you look at a formation like this, you got to determine what your passing strength is. A lot of the tights would still be on the left. This is a 2 tight end situation, so you might even want to call even or over, but for this video, it's not important yet. You still want to do your initial setups, and then roll your linebackers where you think the run will be. If you want to roll them at all, like so. Kind of get him in the center. So that would get you good for the run. Okay. And then you just play your position for the pass, obviously. Okay. That's how we do the sky. So defensive looks that we're going to play compression is going to be the sky, the buzz, and the cloud. And then we're going to also add a cover 6 and a cover 9 to that. Okay. I don't really, and cover 2 if you want to trap with it. Of course, it's got some liabilities on the outside, but it's just a guessing game, really. So that's one thing with compression is, you know, I'm not a historian, but I think a lot of the rubs and a lot of the things that come from compression was based on man coverage. And then, you know, pattern match and zone drops and all that developed around it. There's a certain coverage. I don't know if I can remember what the hell it is. I don't really. Okay. But there is a certain coverage of quarters that they are running on Madden, the way it's programmed, and it's only one of those. It's basically where they man up. That is an actual thing, but in the quarters family, you have several options how to play, you know, like the box coverage and all that. Well, they don't have it yet. You don't have options. So you're basically getting a straight man quarters coverage. So let me just start there and show you what I mean. We can play palms if we have to, but we'll play quarters. And then I want to pick one that'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so there's one that would do it. This empty flat stick would work. Nah, let's try choice shallow dig. Actually, if you're going to run, or we can do smash return. That choice shallow dig's a motherfucker to defend, really, but just let you know. Smash return. So the type of coverage that is in Madden is this guy has number 1, basically. This guy has number 2, and this guy carries number 3, right? Until it gets to him. He just walls him off, so to speak. But so the route of number 1 is going to go inside. Watch number 1, so he'll. Well, he got turned around. Well, they didn't play that bad, but it's because of his depth. That's why. But anyway, I don't like it because it plays loose. Alright, so if you look at it, it's just loose. If you have other routes that we can run, it's just loose. Now you can shade it, but man, if you guess wrong, you're just giving up a freaking ton of yards. Like this motion speed dig under on the right. You're asking your outside corner here and this guy to cover. For one, they have piss poor leverage to cover going to the left. So we'll see how they do. Just show you. I'm just showing you why we don't really want to mess with this. Well, he threw it there. But a lot of times when you run that, if you look at number 1 out there, he's going to run and then he's going to turn. And he's going to get good spacing. And then if number 15, which is the number 2 receiver on the right, if he actually went further downfield and drew that safety's attention, I wonder if they got a play like, I know the Chiefs got one like that. It's important I show you this. And it's really your only option of Madden that we have that we can. I got the speed dig. I might do it. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. So you look at that, and he really. Everybody was open, really. I mean, those 2 guys going deep, number 1 and number 11, they're open. I mean, I think they're open. They're going to trail here in a second. See, when they even start to make their move, they are way too late. Now the ball was thrown. Let's do that one more time. I'll cover this guy so it's not as obvious a throw, so. But yeah, see, if you look at it, it's not good. See how it just fucking annihilates the coverage. Okay. And if that number 2 cleared out that safety faster, it's a home run. And it's just too vulnerable to use. Now you can spot drop the quarters, but then there's nothing over here in a spot drop that the whole fucking middle is wide open. You can't cover crossers. So it's just not a defense we want to use for compression. It's only programmed to do one thing, so. So again, the cover 3 families of Sky, Cloud, and Buzz. One thing I want to go over with compression 2 before we get started, and I'll just come out in a seam here. I'll change it to a Sky in a minute. But look at the flex. Look at this combinations plays. What I want you to notice, especially from, well, there is a flood concept on this one, but they're outside. But even that, when you have compression, you really don't have to worry about defending 3 levels to the sideline like you do when it's non-compression. For one, because your outside corner is not going with the vertical streak. It's because the bunch formation itself, the guy's more in the middle of the field where the safety's going to cover him. So unless it's across the field flood concept, 90% of the time, you've only got 2 receivers on the sideline for the most part. Now you could have a crosser, but our defense is designed to carry the crossers with our users, so I'm not consumed with that so much. So what I want to show you is you don't have to worry about all that crap when it comes to this, and let's just look at some basic things here. We'll go start with the smash concept. Okay, even if they had one of those guys over there going streak, the safety would cover him, right? So what do we want to do on the smash concept? Well, we want to sky it. There's 2 ways to sky it, right? We can hard flat it, or we can, and I don't like the cloud flat really on compression. They get in the junk. You can just have your regular sky coverage, okay? So in this instance, you go over the top and then play either inside or outside. We'll play outside. So what is compression trying to do in Madden, right? They're trying to compress you, and then they're going to go out to the routes, and they're going to go to certain places. So what we want to do is basically wait for them to come to us, if that makes sense. That's what we're going to do. We're going to go there and wait on them. Now, there's so many different route combinations and compression sets that, you're not going to have a defense that does everything kind of like it does from a spread. You just have to guess right. I mean, a lot of the times. Also, what makes it harder in Madden is the 4-man press doesn't get there as much. Can't blitz it like you can in real life very easily. And you have the God's view, right? And you have your AI beaters that just work. But in general, if we want to stop a smash concept, right, you would just go underneath and outside. Now, probably what's going to happen, they're going to lock that underneath route up, and they're going to have a really tight window on the corner route. Okay, which if he threw that, we could have clicked on our guy and got there. So it's underneath and outside. So if they're running smash, or you're guessing they're running smash, that's how you call it. You only got to guard those 2 things. Now, if you think it's going to be a little deeper, and you're going to give up the flat, well, give up the flat. Right? If it's first down or whatever, give up the flat. Give up 4 yards. Right? Depends on what you want to take away. So our defense, in general, gives you the flat until we decide to take it away. Okay, that is the weakness of our defense. In just general terms, until we decide to take it away. So you go underneath. Now, if you inside coverage, right, and they're running this smash concept like I just did here, that's going to be a little harder. No, they did okay. But the linebackers play a lot better. So there's the smash concepts. There's only 2 guys on the outside. Okay. Spot. Same thing, really. You can run, we've got all these kinds of spots. Doesn't really matter. We'll do it from a compression set. Wide receiver wheels, spot. So on the right side. Okay. So it's really the same thing, exactly, except you got a 3rd receiver over here, and you're just going to have to cover that area, right? We'll see if the computer did. So if we went down and outside, and this would be the guy we'd use her anyway. Okay, covered it. because there's only two things that you really got to cover over there from compression. I mean, there's not a third guy over there. Now you get some formations that have a wide out and then they're compressed, the slot and the tight end. Those are a little harder to defend. And I haven't really lapped those, so we're not going to go down that rabbit hole in this video. So there's that. Texas, same thing, really. Choice, curl. There's nothing there that gets us. Now, this is another common one, is drive and levels. Okay. So levels, you can see there's nothing on the inside, or the outside, really, that can get you more than the 2 points. Now, when we get into the flood here in a minute, we'll go over that, but for the most part, it's all inside stuff, right? So we'll do a tight end drive. This is the instance where we would do our shade underneath, inside, reset our zones. Okay. I was watching the other guy and trying to use it at the same time. If I'd have stayed on him, I would have picked it. But as you can see, that this setup I have is for this concept, okay, from compression. So our base setup, right, when I go down and underneath and reset, it's to play this shit right here. Okay, so keep that. So we'll do levels the same way. Obviously, we want to mix it up, but we'll get into the other ones here in a few. Levels. Okay, there's all kinds of levels there. Let's pick levels Y corner first. Down inside, reset. Oops. Fat fingered that one. And there we go. Okay. Now it would be this guy, because if they ran a bubble screen, I'm all over it. That's what I'm keying. Okay. So it's going to be a little harder. Okay, but by default, that's what we would do. Now, if you get a guy that runs that a lot, right? I'll show you. You can play a game with it. Put him on a middle read. And then you play the lower. Hand him off and then come down. Come down a little faster, but okay. Or you could do it the other way, but I like to be that guy now because of the bubble screens. So again, middle read. This guy. You don't have to carry him as much. They're not going to make a living off that. Okay. So that's the base defense for that type of stuff. Alright, so you move into mesh. So what's mesh doing? It's just annihilating your underneath zones. Okay. Two ways to go about this. With our cover 3, you can still do it, or you can cover to it, right, and have an extra defender in there. The only problem with cover 200 is if they got a corner out coming off that mesh. Now this particular playbook doesn't. Some of them do. Okay, most guys run it with the post, but some of them do. So we'll do a random here. And then we'll go underneath, inside, and we'll leave it that way. Remember, don't chase. Don't chase shit. Okay. Let's It's a little harder to defend that. Plus, I haven't played in a few days, but so inside, underneath. Remember my 5 yards, and then drop back if I see it. Okay. Now the other route is, and this is another reason I don't like to necessarily go with the too high look when I'm playing compression, is so I can run that cover 3 sky, and then I can also put in a invert. So what's the invert going to do? Well, it's going to give us 5 guys to play that level. Now we can shade it any way we want. If we really think they're going to run that crap, then we'll hard flat it. Now, when we hard flat it, though, we're giving up the corner route. So if there's any corner route, we're dead. But, I mean, that's football. But anyway, you can play your user down here, right? You can really pack that because you got 5 people at second level. All right? Just like that. Now, I don't have to shade it down either. But this time I won't shade it. It's just giving you 5 second level defenders. Okay. They keep running it from real heavy positions. Okay, so I think they're going to mesh this. I'll just leave it by default. Bam, nice completion on the wheel route. But anyway, that's how we do that. Underneath of it. As you can see, I'm not too worried about that wheel route's nasty. I'm not too worried about whether it's bunch or tight, really, because I'm going to landmark drops. Cover 2 is a lot more vulnerable than sky, buzz, or cloud, obviously. Now in our playbook, there's a buzz that's in the 2-3. There's also one in the 2-3 wheel. Got a buzz seam here, and it can do any of these. Really, one thing it does a little bit better at is if you get something like that, like double outs. Okay, should grab onto that pretty quick. I didn't. I'm just going to play this as a pattern match, and you can pattern match from these. I don't know. There's so many route combinations. I can't tell you what the guys are going to do. It's confusing to me, to be honest with you. But you can still do it. But go back to our rule. We don't need to do that. And we can just go like that. Inside shade. Now I'm just going to let the computer play it. But they do a good job picking everything up from the buzz. It's like that spot concept I showed you earlier. This guy, this safety that's coming down, he plays that area really well. Okay. Okay. All right. So those are some of the concepts. Let's see if there's any more I want to go through with you. I'm not going to go through every one of them, but cross is the same. Smash, I've done that. Spot. Deeper concepts. Comebacks from compression. Well, that's an outside shade, and our outside third defender will get them. Dagger's more of our universal setup. So is divide. So is double dig. So is double post. The flood's an interesting one. We'll kind of go over that here in a second. None of these others bother me too much. So the flood that really is going to get you is the one that's from the opposite side of the field. But there is a few compressions here, so we'll go flood drive on the left there from the tight. If I did my normal routine, I would go down and outside, because I don't a lot of digs from this. You're going to get a lot of corner routes from this, I think, but I'll just play this guy. So there, you're going to give up that, okay? And when you rewatch it, the corner had to take that vertically. But number one, he was just far enough outside. Even though that wasn't like a bunch, it's still a compression, okay? It's still a compression. But we can be a little more lenient on this when we our pattern match. So if it's not bunch or tight, it's compression. We can still go outside, and well, they won't let us do our shell. Sometimes they will, but remember I showed you earlier, if this guy's out here, he covers it fairly decently. And then our job's to get over here and cover that guy. Now in a true pattern match, right, this guy has the running back. I don't know if they're going to let him do that in this. We'll see. And this guy should get any crosser coming across, but I don't think he did on that last one. Yeah, he reacted late. But anyway, it was compression. But we left the match on and it covered that corner out like it's supposed to. Okay. And a lot of times I like to be on the 3 receiver side, but if I play on this side, in this type of formation, it should be good. So, in real life, that backer on the right should have went with McCaffrey down, but he didn't just because of the route. Okay. So he gave that up. Now we'll inside shade it. Move him out just a little bit. I didn't cover that very well, so I inside shaded, gave that up. Alright, so the flood's problematic, right? What we want to give up is the underneath route, that's what I'm telling you. That's the one we want to give up from this look, using the sky or using the pattern match. Now if you get it from a compression set, a true one like a tight or a bunch, then it's going to look a little different. For one, I wouldn't come out in the seam. Let's see if they got one from a bunch. I know they do, we saw it earlier. Alright, there's a flood. It's a flexed bunch, but we move the ball, so it makes it a little more realistic. Put it on this hash. Hope these don't bore you, but just kind of got to go over the stuff. Okay, so we'll go outside shade if I'm worried about a flood, and we'll give that up. All right, I could go inside shade, and I'll play this guy. Yeah, so the inside shade helps because it makes your partner on the other side stay inside. If you don't do anything, he's going to drop back 12 yards at a 45-degree angle. That's why we want to shade those guys. If not, the default's just awful. But by inside shading, he kind of stayed inside, so that was decent. So if you want to use match on some of these, you can. Now if we do this, and they're flooding us, he's not from a compression like a bunch or a bunch. There's still only 2 points that they can really get you, because that safety's going to come over and do the other guy. Now you got to carry that guy on the left, but that's why compression's hard. Okay, so generally just want to corral it. That's why we like to spot drop more than match. Okay, so then I'll go back outside. Just like that. So this guy works pretty decent. I don't like to match a lot. I was just showing you that because you can do it a little bit. You see, from a compression, it's that safety gets over there to help. Okay, so I'm not going to go over buzz and cloud because it's the same stuff. We're going to go over cover 6 and 9, and then we'll go over some a few other formations. So the 6 is ideal for this bunch, I think, and the 9 help as well. Cover 2 side, that's a little iffy against tight because of the smash concept. Okay, but for a bunch, I like the 6 and 9. And we'll do some random stuff here. But anyway, so this, I want to create my own box. So I can go underneath, and I can go outside, and I can play this guy, and I play the box, so you can see the box. That's our box coverage. The reason I like this not in quarters is because you have this guy that can kind of clean up the middle. So you're really free to use either one of these guys, depending on what your opponent does. But I'm always going to start out with this guy. So I'll do my 5 to 10 read. That was a nasty fucking route they just did. I mean, that was ridiculous. How deep that was. But it's what it's designed to beat. God, it was gross. Whew. Okay, but we can go underneath and inside. I like outside a little better for this. You can leave that guy as is, or you can put him in a curl. So then you're basically playing the cover 3 part of it, right? And you just got your box on the right side. Does that make sense? So it's cover 3, but we're boxing. Right side of the field. Okay, so you can do that. And keep in mind, when you mix these up, right, it changes things. So you could go to a sky, or you could go to an over the top, but then you're definitely giving up the flats. I like the underneath just to start out with. It's a true box. If you want, you can put him in a curl flat. These are this guy. And then you get any crosser coming across. Okay. Do one more. Do that. Wheel route's a bitch. But anyway, that's how we use the cover 6. Okay, it's a good mix to throw in there. I think I sent you my percentages, so it's not high, but you can do other things with it. You can go over the top. You can rezone this guy into a squat over here if you want on the left. Okay. We want him kind of in a hook zone curl. That way he covers the deep crossers. Or you can just be this guy and do it yourself, depending on what your opponent does. I didn't shade, and you saw how far back that guy went on the right. It's ridiculous. That's why we have to shade him. He just way the fuck back there. But in general, I like to underneath, inside or outside, be this guy. And give up the wheel route. Now that's one instance where the quarters would be okay, but you got to guess right. So there's a cloud you can do. Same concept. Reset that. I can reset the left if I want. I'm playing inside of it. If I'd have played outside, he would have covered it different. But I played inside. Give up the flat. So you got to guess right. Get underneath, inside, and go to the cloud. Underneath of it and outside. I haven't been setting up my run stuff, but okay. Cover 9, same type of thing. It's just the opposite. The one thing that cover 9 you'll get burned on it if they do run a flood concept to your side. Other than that, it does pretty good. I don't think I have one in the triple, do I? Duh. Okay, so we're a little vulnerable there on the right if they do that. Just leave it as is. That's a good change up. Okay. Now this one I don't, I do not shade this over or under as much because of this guy. He's always on the 2 receiver side usually. It's going to help him cover that wheel route or deep crosser a little bit better. So on the 9, I kind of just leave it as is. So, okay. A couple other things you can do when you have compression, right? You can go to our base. We got 2 specific defenses we can run with this. Actually, all of them. But the over is specific to the single back concept. So usually when you have condensed formations, it's single backs. So you can just run any of these drops that you want. Okay, any of them. Now the buzz mic's more of an inside thing, so if you're wanting to guard the outside, it's going to be tough for those backers to get out there. Just keep that in mind. If you're looking at inside concepts, perfect. Okay, so you can use this. I'd throw this in there, especially if a guy likes to do it from single back or pistol where they like to run out of those tight things. Then even the same way, just remember the setup with that. Okay. It's only got 3s and 2s where the over's got 6s as well. And you got the odd that has a drop 4. So the drop 4 is good from the odd. You just got to make sure you got your cover 4 shell, which and we run out of the odd's going to have that, right? So you can have that cover 4 drop. Any type of compression, doesn't matter which it is. tight, bunch, any of them. All right, and you can run this one here. I didn't. All right, so shade outside. I'd probably shade outside because these backers are way the hell in there. It's gonna be tough for them. Get out there. All right. So again, I probably made this video longer than I needed to. I just didn't want to get too much of a rabbit hole on the compression. Just that's where we use these drops, and that's why we don't want to use the. Here's a reason why I don't want to use the normal setup. So we'll go to 2.4, and I have that cover 4 shell because I've been running against regular sets. But if I come out in sky and forget to shut that off, right? I can't get to my, it doesn't really matter what it is. When I go down and inside, then I go to speed it up. It's an L1, it just throws me for a loop. If I get used to it, I can get him in there, but man, without looking, sometimes I'll hit the wrong one, and I got this guy doing a flat zone. I don't even know it, right? So that's what you got to watch out for. But other than that, I go to that cover 3 shell and get him to go out a little bit. Okay, so that's why I don't like it. You can do it, just be conscious of it, that's all I'm saying. Where the other one's just muscle memory at this point. So, but in general, what I like to do so I don't have to mess with it, okay, is my 2.4 is what I'm going to use for my base nickel package against normal plays. And then what you can do is you can go to your dime 2.3 for compression, which actually gives you a safety on the field. Actually, no, I don't want to do that either. I don't think I want to do that. Let's see if it messes it up. No, it's okay. Okay. Yeah, it messes it up. That guy's a safety. I don't know why it does it different than it does the 2.4, so much for that. But it's got a hard flat in this. Okay. So if you want to use the dime for your compression, you can do it this way. You can just go ahead and call your hard flat and shade inside. Or you can do your sky and shade inside. And you're not going to get your underneath so much, but you can still shade inside and over the top. Got some nice inverts there that you can spot drop to. Cover 2s, press quarters, that type of thing. Cover 9. And you got a buzz seam. So this probably is the formation that you want to go to when you're dealing with compression. Now, they all would work, what I just showed you, right? The over's built for single back. The even can be if you, it can be too. It works fine. This one, so the only thing you got to do on this one is, let's say they're going to come out in who's close, and they're going to run inside or outside zone, right? So it's the same thing. We go away from the passing strength, right? Actually, we'll go away from the left. We'll roll the linebacker over. That's how we want to do it. Now you got to pretend it's the passing strength left when you see something like this, just because of the way the defense aligns. Okay. Even though the right probably is, because there's 2 tight ends out there. But that should protect you with the run and play the pass as well. That wasn't that great. Buzz wasn't the right call, though. All right. There we go. So, yeah, it works great. Okay. So there's no right or wrong. Just simplify it, okay? Don't try to worry about covering everything. Just have a base, see what they do, and then take it away at a later time. It's kind of what I'm getting at. So if you got any questions, let me know. This probably wasn't the greatest video in the world, but for now it'll do to get us going. Talk to you later. Bye.